From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. Radio Pilipinas World Service can also be heard on shortwave broadcast through the facilities of the United States Agency for Global Media or Voice of America on the following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. I'm your host, Leo Magpayo, and this is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has approved the country's first National Digital Connectivity Plan, a nationwide blueprint designed to fast-track the rollout of fast, secure, and affordable broadband services and bring down internet costs for millions of Filipinos. The President gave the go signal during the 7th meeting of the Economy and Development Council in Malacañang Palace, marking a major step toward modernizing the country's digital landscape. The NDCP lays out a vision for a digitally connected Philippines, one that guarantees meaningful, inclusive, and transformative connectivity with accessible, affordable, high-speed, and secure digital services for all. The plan is anchored on 4 strategic pillars: strengthening governance and regulation to liberalize the sector, boost competition and lower barriers for new players; expanding universal access, ensuring that even geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas are connected; accelerating infrastructure investment through public-private partnerships to speed up nationwide deployment; and building resilient digital systems that can withstand climate impacts, natural disasters, and cybersecurity threats. During the meeting, President Marcos acknowledged that the Philippines is still catching up with its Southeast Asian neighbors, many of which adopted similar digital strategies a decade earlier. Still, the chief executive expressed confidence that with today's more advanced and affordable technologies, the country can soon match regional standards in connectivity, speed, and cost. By 2028, the NDCP targets universal internet access for public schools, barangay halls, and health centers, a 30 to 50% drop in internet costs, and a significant boost in the country's average internet speed.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang on Monday said fewer Filipinos are experiencing hunger and poverty, crediting the administration's expanded social protection programs, particularly the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD's Walang Gutom program. In a press briefing, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the government welcomes the latest Social Weather Stations or SWS survey, which shows a continued drop in involuntary hunger nationwide. She noted that the improvement aligns with President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s directive to prioritize support for the country's most vulnerable families. Castro reported that the fourth quarter 2025 SWS survey found 20.1% of respondents experienced involuntary hunger, down nearly 2 points from 22% in September. She said the number indicate that government interventions are beginning to take hold. The President has ordered the DSWD to further strengthen the Walang Gutom program, with plans to expand its coverage to 300,000 beneficiaries in 2026 as part of the administration's push to eradicate hunger. Castro also cited the latest Octa research survey showing declines in both poverty and food poverty self-ratings. According to Octa, self-rated poverty dropped to 37%, a sharp fall from 54% in September last year, described as the largest three-month decline recorded. Food poverty also eased to 30%, down from previous levels of 40 to 49%. Castro said the government will continue scaling up programs that address hunger and poverty, adding that the latest survey results underscore the need to sustain and expand targeted assistance for those who need it most.
Hunger incidence sa bansa bumaba sa tulong ng walang gutom program ng Pangulo at DSWD. Poverty self-rating bumaba rin. Alinsunod sa direktiba ni Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. na tiyakin ang kapakanan ng ating mga kababayang lubos na nangangailangan ng tulong. Malugod na tinanggap ng DSWD ang resulta ng SWS survey patungkol sa pagbaba ng hunger incidence sa bansa. Ayon sa survey, bumaba sa 20.1% ng mga respondents ang nagsabing nakakaranas sila ng involuntary hunger. Nakita ang magandang resulta na ito kumpara sa nakaraang taon. Ayon sa ahensya, ang pagbaba ng dami ng mga Pilipino nakakaranas ng gutom ay malaking tagumpay para sa bayan. Ibig sabihin lang nito ay ramdam na ang mabuting epekto ng social protection programs ng pamahalaan. Gaya ng walang gutom program na naglalayong tuluyang wakasan ang gutom sa bansa. Ayon din sa utos ni Pangulong Marcos Jr., palalakasin pa ng DSWD ang walang gutom program upang palawakin ang coverage nito at makapaglingkod sa 300,000 beneficiaries ngayon 2026. Maliban sa pagbaba ng hunger incidence sa bansa, bumaba rin ang poverty and food poverty self-rating ayon sa survey ng Octa Research. Batay sa resulta na pinakahuling tugon ng masa survey, bumaba na lamang sa 37% ng respondents ang nagsasabing sila ay mahirap. Malaking pagkakaiba mula sa 54% noong September ng nakaraang taon. Ayon sa tala ng Octa, ito ang pinakamalaking pagbaba ng self-rated poverty sa loob lamang ng 3 buwan. Bumaba din ang food poverty incidence sa antas ng 30% mula sa dating 49%. Anuman ang maging resulta ng survey, ay magpapatuloy ang pamahalaan sa pagkilos upang maibsan ang kahirapan at kagutuman sa bansa na naranasan noon.
Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Malacañang said Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is now back to his regular work routine after undergoing overnight medical observation last week, dismissing online claims that he required surgery as nothing more than fake news. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro reported that the president's condition has improved and that he has already resumed attending meetings inside Malacañang. The 68-year-old president was taken to the hospital on January 21st after experiencing discomfort and was later diagnosed with diverticulitis, an inflammation of small pouches in the colon. He has since released a video message reassuring the public about his health. Castro stressed that rumors circulating online about the president undergoing surgery are completely false. Asked about the president's return to public engagements after several events were canceled last week, Castro said the palace may release documentation of his meetings to show he is in good condition. President Marcos was scheduled to convene the Economy and Development Council in Malacañang on Monday morning.
Sa ngayon po ay masasabi natin maganda po ang kalagayan ng ating Pangulo dahil siya po ay kasalukuyang nasa meeting at yun po at marami po silang pinag-uusapan patungkol po doon at kung ano man mapag-uusapan may aari kong maibigay bukas dahil hindi pa po tapos ang meeting. Wala pong ganung balita na mabibigay po tayo dahil ngayon po ang Pangulo ay nasa meeting. So yan po ay fake news. Yung pagmi-meeting po ngayon, pagpupulong, malamang po ay ma-post ito para po mapakita natin na ang Pangulo po ay nasa maayos na kondisyon. Sa ngayon po, yan po ang schedule niya at siya naman po ay naka-attend. So masasabi po natin na back to normal po.
So wala na po siyang iniinda.
Hindi ko po masasabi, personal niya po nararamdaman kung sumasakit ang kanyang tiyan. But sa ngayon po ay wala po siya iniinda.
Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Also on Monday, Malacañang has confirmed the removal of 6 Bureau of Immigration or BI personnel over alleged unauthorized privileges given to Russian vlogger Vitaly Zdorovetsky during his detention. In a press briefing, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said a warden has tendered his courtesy resignation, which has been accepted, while 2 deputy wardens were dismissed. 3 other BI employees were likewise relieved in connection with the incident. Zdorovetsky, arrested in April of 2025 for disruptive behavior, including harassing a security guard and commandeering a tricycle, was declared an undesirable alien and deported to Russia on January 17th. While in detention, he claimed he had unrestricted cell phone access and accused BI personnel of corruption. Castro clarified that detainees are allowed to use a cell phone only to contact their families, not to record or upload videos. She stressed that the vlogger's video content was unauthorized and violated facility rules. Castro added that President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered a full investigation into the matter, reiterating his directive to keep government offices free from corruption. She said agency personnel must uphold the president's standards if they value their jobs and the country. According to the palace, further action, including additional sanctions or a possible reshuffle, will depend on the results of the ongoing probe.
Nakausap po mismo natin ang pamunuan po ng Bureau of Immigration at sinabi po nila na ang pagbibigay po at pag-aalaw ng paggamit ng cellphone ay para makausap lamang ang kanilang pamilya at hindi po allowed na sila ay gumawa ng anumang video. At ang paggawa po ng video ng nasabing Russian vlogger ay hindi po naaayon sa rules at ito po ay hindi at walang authority o hindi otorisado ng nasabing facility. But bagamat po nangyari po ito, sa ngayon po dahil inutos din po ng Pangulo na magkaroon ng malalimang pag-iimbestiga rito, 3 po ang tinanggap na po ang courtesy resignation. 1 warden at 2 deputies. At sa ngayon po ay pinag-iinting pa rin po ang pag-iimbestiga patungkol po dito ng Bureau of Immigration. Alam naman po ng bawat ahensya, ng lahat ng heads ng ahensya, alam din po ng bawat kawani ng gobyerno na nais ng Pangulo na malinis ang gobyerno ito mula sa korupsyon. So dapat lamang sila ay naaayon sa kagustuhan ng Pangulo. Dahil kung hindi po sila aayon sa kagustuhan ng Pangulo na maging malinis ang gobyerno mula sa korupsyon, maaari sila matanggal sa pwesto. Kung mahal nila ang kanilang trabaho at mahal nila ang bayan, sundin lamang po nila ang utos ng Pangulo.
Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang on Monday said it is closely monitoring reports that foreign groups may be trying to influence public discourse in the Philippines, including allegations of Chinese propaganda circulating in local media. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro acknowledged concerns raised by the non-profit group Sea Light, which claimed the Chinese embassy has been directing Chinese language media outlets in the country to promote Beijing's narrative. Castro said the issue of foreign interference is not new, but stressed that while the government upholds freedom of expression, it strongly condemns any form of disinformation. According to Castro, the Presidential Communications Office, or PCO, is now coordinating with the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, and the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordination Center to verify whether unlawful or manipulative activities are taking place. She also urged the public to be vigilant and discerning when consuming information. Castro emphasized that transparency and truth must prevail, adding that Filipinos should unite in protecting the country's interests above those of any foreign power.
Matagal na po nababalita na may ibang bansa na nakikialam sa ating politika. Pero ayon na rin po sa PCO, iginagalang po natin ang freedom of expression, ang freedom of speech. Ngunit kinukondena natin ang anuman disinformation o fake news. Sa ngayon po, nakikipag-ugnayan din po ang PCO sa DICT at CIC upang malaman po natin kung may mga authentic behavior at hindi sumusunod sa mga panuntunan. Muli, ang nais po natin ay transparency, masabi ang katotohanan at ito din po ang ating magiging bilin sa ating mga kababayan, maging mapanuri. Magkaisa po tayo. Ang dapat po nating ipaglaban at ingatan at proteksyonan ay ang interes ng ating bansa at hindi interes ng ibang bansa.
Official Communications Office Undersecretary Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Still on Monday, Malacañang said Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is standing firmly behind Philippine officials who are defending the country's rights in the West Philippine Sea, amid China's escalating public criticism of Filipino figures calling out Beijing's unlawful activities. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said, the President has issued clear directives to all agencies to assert national interest and uphold sovereignty, stressing that he will not give up any part of Philippine territory. Castro reminded the public of President Marcos's earlier statement that he will not surrender even a square inch of our territory. She added that while the government continues to assert its rights, it will do so through diplomatic means. According to Castro, the palace fully supports officials whose actions are lawful and aligned with the country's advocacy to safeguard its maritime rights. She confirmed that the president stands by their public statements. The remarks came after the Chinese embassy in Manila openly criticized several Filipino officials, including Philippine Coast Guard or PCG spokesperson Commodore J. Tariela, and lawmakers who have spoken against China's activities in the West Philippine Sea.
Unang-una po, ang Pangulo po, siya po ang nagsabi na hindi po niya isa-surrender even an inch of our territory. So, ano man po ang ginagawa ng ating mga ahensya upang ipaglaban ang interes ng ating bansa, yan po ang nais ng Pangulo at yan din po ang utos ng Pangulo. But mananatili pa rin po na diplomasya ang kailangan para kung mayroon mang issues sa ibang bansa, maayos po. In a way na dapat may kasamang diplomasya.
The National Security Council, or NSC, called the recent comments from China's foreign ministry and its embassy undiplomatic and uncalled for, saying these attacks go beyond individual officials and undermine Philippine institutions. The NSC stressed that Filipino officials are duty-bound to inform the public about national security matters and do not need permission from any foreign government. It added that attempts to intimidate or silence officials violate diplomatic norms and the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. The Council also reiterated that the 2016 arbitral ruling under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, invalidated China's 9-dash line and affirmed the Philippines' maritime rights, adding that Beijing's refusal to comply remains the root cause of tensions in the West Philippine Sea.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has directed the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, to immediately extend assistance to victims of a passenger vessel that sank in Basilan early Monday as rescue efforts continue. Presidential Communications Office, or PCO Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said, the President ordered the DSWD to provide all necessary support to affected passengers and their families. She noted that the directive was issued as authorities work to account for those killed or reported missing. The roll-on, roll-off, or RoRo vessel MV Trisha Kirsten 3, carrying 332 passengers and 27 crew members, went down around 1:50 in the morning near Baluk-Baluk Island in Basilan while en route to Jolo, Sulu. Castro said the Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG, is leading ongoing rescue operations and is also investigating what caused the sinking. She added that the PCG is checking whether the vessels was overloaded or violated safety regulations meant to protect passengers.
Opo, nakausap po natin mismo ang Philippine Coast Guard at sila po ay nananatili po na malaman kung ang mga sasakyan, yung vessel, ay may mas maraming maraming pasahero na sinasakay at kung sila ba ay lumalabag sa alintuntunin ng batas para to sa proteksyon ng ating mga mananakay at mga pasahero. At sa ngayon po ay kung ano man po ang nangyari dito sa ferry accident, ang DSWD po ay inutusan na po ng Pangulo para po mabigyan ng karampatang tulong ang ating mga kababayan na naapektuhan po nito at nabiktima po sa nasabing incident.
Palace Press Officer, Attorney Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the International Criminal Court, or ICC, has ruled that former President Rodrigo Duterte is fit to participate in the pre-trial proceedings related to his crimes against humanity case. In a statement released Monday, the ICC announced that Duterte's confirmation hearing will formally open on February 23rd. Duterte's legal team had earlier sought an indefinite postponement of the proceedings, claiming he was not medically fit to take part. In response, ICC Pretrial Chamber 1 appointed a panel of 3 independent medical experts to examine the former president. Their assessment was submitted in December. After reviewing the findings, the chamber said it was satisfied that Duterte is able to effectively exercise his procedural rights and can therefore take part in the resumed pre-trial process. The ICC said it will soon issue guidelines to facilitate Duterte's participation in the upcoming hearing. The confirmation hearing, initially scheduled for September 2025, will determine whether there is sufficient evidence to proceed with charges against Duterte, who turns 81 in March. If any of the charges are upheld, the case will move to a trial chamber for the next phase. Duterte is accused of crimes against humanity, including murder and attempted murder, allegedly committed between November of 2011 and March of 2019 in connection with the government's war on drugs. He was arrested on March 11, 2025 and transferred to ICC custody in The Hague the following day.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service can be heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. Radyo Pilipinas World Service is also live on audio streaming. Just download Evox PBS Receiver on your Google Play Store or the App Store from your Apple phone. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Just type in and search for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our post as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.